Welcome to KQEG and Seven River Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, into wellness, into fitness. Well, today, a special show. We're going to take a look back and forward both at the career of Sam Pinkowski along with Peyton LeMere. High school student athletes, exceptional. Now we're going to talk about their college years. Well, welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, excited to be here.
As we tape the show here on December 31st, a lot of people spend the day, this season, reflecting on perhaps the past year and then designing some resolutions or maybe some intentionality that they'd like to accomplish in the upcoming year. How about you, Sam?
Well, I'm pretty happy with how my career has gone so far at Wartburg. But one thing that I would like to focus on is continuing to take better care of my body, because college training is a lot more intense than high school training. And what I mean by that is just continuing to focus on getting good sleep, nutrition, things like that. In the new year, I think that'll help me.
A typical runner. Well, I followed Sam Pinkowski when he was at La Crosse Central and now at Wartburg, and we're going to talk about that incredible career that he had at Central and what's going on at Wartburg. And I followed Peyton too, mom and dad, friends of the family, and followed you from Holman to now Marion College, but kind of reflecting too on this time of the year. What are your thoughts as you move into 2019?
I mean, I've built myself kind of quite a resume over the last few years with not only just my sport, but also kind of beginning college, kind of like where things are going there, and hope to continue into 2019.
What are your thoughts as you reflect on your high school? I know you were a three-sport athlete, and you were exceptional, and read about you and followed your leadership and so on. What are your thoughts back at your high school days at Holman?
Kind of usually just kept myself busy, going from one practice to the next, and within the different seasons. Kind of enjoyed being able to play three different sports. Kind of a little different for me in college now, being down to one, but strive to be better in just the one sport. Well,
football, varsity, 3 years, basketball, 2 years, lacrosse. I mean, you were busy. You 3-year starter, team MVP your senior year, and you accomplished a great deal, plus an outstanding student athlete. Reflect on some of the high points, the defining moments during your high school years.
I think it really came down to lacrosse last year, being second team all-conference for the second time, and also being able to play in the first ever state all-star game. I thought that was pretty cool too.
Yeah,
I guess I had to be the top.
I followed that, of course, in the paper, and I know it was one of the top lacrosse players ever came out of this area, and that's why you're moved on to Marion College. But Sam, I also followed you, as I said, at La Crosse Central, and you were outstanding. You set records. Go back to your high school years and share with our viewers your accomplishments.
Sure. Yeah, I think throughout high school, I always knew how successful I could be as a runner, but a lot of things didn't really come together for me until my senior year. I qualified for state in cross country. Actually, our whole team went that year, which was really fun. I took fourth individually, and then I went on to run a postseason race at Nike Cross Regionals, which is the qualifier for the national meet. And I barely missed making it to nationals, which was a bummer, but I think that kind of fired me up for my track season. There was something left out there that I knew I could achieve, and so my track season went pretty well. I took second in the 2-mile, almost chased down Finn Gessner, and almost won it, but a pretty exciting race, and second in the mile as well.
And you were also an outstanding student.
Yeah.
Student first, athlete second?
Yeah. I think so.
Academically, you accomplished a great deal?
Yeah, I think so.
So going back, you've had a lot of coaches in your career. Kind of share what some of those coaches and what perhaps they meant to you.
That's a great question. I was hoping I'd get to talk about my coaches a little bit. In high school, Coach Christensen, really, I mean, he's really been a mentor in a lot of aspects of my life. In fact, yesterday I actually went to the Packer game with Coach, so we still are pretty close. And yeah, he he was responsible for training me and also kind of shaping me throughout high school, I think. So, yeah.
So, did that ruin your day yesterday, going to watch a Packers play?
Man. Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was fun spending the time with Coach, but the game was a little rough. Yep.
Why was he so special? And describe for our viewers what you think is the kind of coach you want to compete for.
Sure. Well, Coach Christensen and I connected pretty well. We you know, as an athlete, especially a really successful athlete, and somebody who really has big goals, it's easy to kind of question your training a little bit. But Coach Christensen was always very open about why he was training me, how he was, what the workouts we were doing were intended to do. Yeah, he also gave me some leeway to kind of explore my own leadership on the team, and kind of helped me out there. So yeah, I think there's definitely a special bond that kind of forms between a coach and an athlete, and I definitely felt that bond with Coach Christensen.
Describe your leadership style.
I'm a quiet leader mostly. I lead a lot by example, but I also know when I need to be vocal when things are, if there are issues on the team, I can speak up and address those issues. But I tend to be a little bit more of a quiet leader and take care of things behind the scenes, that type of stuff.
Peyton, I've always thought that you were a leader just because of the way you sort of lead your life. You're a Christian. You're a good person. A lot of people throughout your high school years looked up to you. Describe how you led as a high school student.
It's kind of just more of just doing the right things all the time, whether it's in the classroom, on the field, not really getting into any trouble, and making sure that other people stayed out of trouble as well. And that's kind of just how I was raised, and my parents would just do the right thing.
So if you saw some underclassmen or even your peers that maybe made some decisions that were kind of questionable, because a lot of times that happens, how did you intercede?
Kind of just more like, well, let it happen. Let's move on. I mean, you made the mistake. There's really nothing you can do about it. I hope you learn something from it. Let's move on and hope you don't get stuck in that situation again.
When you think back to your high school years, multiple sport athlete, any regrets, any high points?
I mean, it got a little difficult sometimes just being on teams that weren't exactly always fun to play on, but everything moved on. The next year was a lot better than previous years. So
take a journey back to when you grew up playing as a youth, as a middle schooler, high schooler. You had lots of coaches. Describe what the kind of coach you like to play for, or someday maybe your son or daughter would like to play for.
Kind of like just the up-tempo coaches where they kind of keep it fun, but also like learning, teaching at the same time. And I know I got to coach a U10 lacrosse team last year, and that's kind of like how we like to run things. We basically want them to keep coming back and stay involved as long as they can.
And so you like a coach that develops relationships that you admire and encourages and so on. Well, go back to your high school days as a student, because you balanced your time very well between multiple sports and the classroom. Did any teachers inspire you?
I mean, I had a few. They're more just the ones that, as long as you did your part, they'll be willing to do their part as well. As for specific teachers, I can't think about the top of my head, but I know most teachers are that way, that if you were willing to give in the work, that they'd also meet you halfway.
Well, you're a freshman. Sam, of course, is a sophomore. So, and your transition, a lot of people struggle, Peyton, when they move to the next chapter of their life from a high school student where there's a level of comfort, and of course, being at home, and then the transition to go to college. A lot of them really struggle and sometimes come back. Talk about that transition. I know a lot of our viewers, too, are thinking about that, young people, as they move into the college years.
I mean, I didn't struggle with it too much, just with being a three-sport athlete and getting my stuff done on time, so it really wasn't a struggle for me. And I mean, at my university, it's pretty small, so we have a decent relationship with our teachers, just like we would in high school. So it was pretty similar.
Well, I've been to that campus working basketball, and it is a small campus. I compare it somewhat to Viterbo. But for our viewers, describe that campus and what it's like there and the culture.
It's a very community-based campus, only having about 1,700 students. So basically everyone gets to know each other, and the professors are accessible to us pretty much all the time. So.
Okay. And I know the culture a little bit as officiating at Wartburg, and I know the Christian component to well, both schools. Describe the culture now as a sophomore. Describe the culture as how you see it as a student athlete at Wartburg.
Sure. Well, the culture on our team has definitely evolved even since I've been there, and we're definitely a team that's focused on achieving big goals. So we don't party or drink during the season. We fill out feedback forms every day, logging our sleep that our coaches look at. So we're definitely we're focused on the little things. We have a lot of fun together. It's a really fun-loving group, but we know when to be serious and what things we need to do to achieve our big goals.
I've often thought that track athletes, maybe even particularly long-distance runners and cross-country, there's a certain culture there. There's a special culture.
There is, yeah.
And I can sense that watching our own children compete and me being a weekend warrior.
Yeah.
There's a certain culture that's special. You said they don't party and drink and so on during the season, and of course most runners don't party and drink during the off season either.
Well, right, yeah.
So, but what do you see as special about long distance running?
I think, especially on a team, just that going through hard workouts and races together, going through that pain. Running fast hurts, and going through that together as a team. Kind of just brings everybody closer, knowing you can rely on those guys to get the job done and go through that with you. It does create a special bond, like you said.
But before we go to break, what's special to me too is it seems like runners also are encouraging athletes from other teams as they compete, which may not be the same always in team sports.
Yeah, I've definitely found that to be the case. I'm pretty good friends with some of the other competitive runners from other colleges in the area. And I think, again, it's just that going through that experience of racing together, regardless of what team you're on, it kind of provides a common ground, that you can kind of, create a bond with other people.
Yeah, it certainly does create a common bond. Well, we're going to step aside just for a minute. When we come back, we're going to talk more about these two athletes that have gone on to college and done very, very well right after this.
With our busy lives, it's a comfort to know that we can still remember loved ones in a traditional way with a monument. Lewiston Monuments in Lewiston, Minnesota has been helping families purchase a monument for over 4 generations. You'll find a large selection of beautiful granite, marble, and bronze monuments, all at competitive prices. And they're a full-service company, so they also do straightening, cleaning, and repair of monuments. Stop in or call for a no-obligation consultation, or visit lewistonmonument.com for more information.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, a special show today as we look back at the high school career of Sam Pinkowski, Peyton LeMere, and now on to college. And Sam already having a great deal of success at Wartburg as a freshman, as a sophomore. Incredible as I looked at what you've accomplished. Share that with us.
Well, the ultimate goal of a collegiate athlete is to be an All-American. And I've actually done that 3 times since I've been at Wartburg. The first was indoors at the Indoor National Meet. I was on the distance medley relay team, which is a team of the first runner runs a 1200, and then a 400, 800, and then a mile. And so I ran the mile leg of that race. We took 6th place. So that was really exciting. That was kind of I felt like that was kind of the start of big things for me there. Getting to run on that team with other great athletes was really, really fun. And then outdoor track, I took 7th place in the 5K, and I actually broke the Division III, it's an unofficial record, but the record for the fastest 5K by a Division III athlete. as a freshman. So that was very exciting for me too. I think that that kind of alluded to things that to come for the rest of my career.
But your transition from high school, by the way, where you had an outstanding season, a career, to college as your freshman wasn't very difficult for you with all those accomplishments. Then your sophomore year.
So far, yeah, I took 27th place at the cross-country national meet, which was exciting because that's All-American finish, but we were also disappointed as a team. We took 5th place, and the top 4 get trophies. So we were like 17 points out of getting a trophy as a team, which was disappointing for us. I was excited with my individual finish. My teammates were excited for me, but we're definitely ready to get back there next year and show them what kind of team we have.
And you'll be back to school pretty soon as we tape the show here on December 31st. And then you'll get ready for the indoor and the outdoor season. And Peyton LeMere going to Marian University in Fond du Lac. And, a lot of people have asked me when I've traveled to Europe and, they find out I'm from La Crosse, and a lot of times they'll ask me, like, well, can you kind of share some details about the sport of lacrosse? And it's like, well, I'll tell you what, even though lacrosse and the sport of lacrosse is similar, I don't really know that much about it, except that it's an aggressive sport that takes quite an athlete to play it. But for our viewers that maybe don't know much about the sport of lacrosse, share that with them.
It's a question I've been asked countless times, and I've gone through the process of explaining. On the field, you play with 10 players at a time. You have 3 attackmen who have to stay on the offensive side of the field at a given time, and so with counted that, there's 3 defensemen that have to stay on their half of the field. You play with 1 goalie, and then you have 3 midfielders, which is what I play, that can run on either half of the field. More set up for like a 6-on-6.
And what's the strategy in order to score a goal and to be successful?
Basically, kind of just fast ball movement is what'll get it done, whether or not if it's on a kind of a fast break similar to what basketball would be like, or just kind of running an offense similar to basketball. Lacrosse is kind of a combination of about 4 or 5 different sports. You kind of combine the aspect of football based on field size. It's got a similar goal to soccer, hockey, basketball, trying to score on a net. Pretty similar to that.
So I've seen the sport on TV, and I know that you have to be an aggressive, rugged player because there's a lot of injuries, and it's fascinating to watch. What's your biggest skill set?
More of kind of just staying out of the trouble where I get into heavily contact and getting whacked with a few sticks. It's nothing better than getting whacked by a defenseman that's got a 6-foot stick, and they can reach you from a good amount away. So try my best to avoid those.
Well, Sam Pinkowski sitting next to you doesn't have to worry about getting hit with any sticks. That's the fun thing about running and racing and so on. But so you're Marian College, way to the furthest eastern part of the state. So what made you decide to go there?
It's kind of more of just saying the coaches that had talked to me, and that's really the only true offer that I kind of pursued. And I kind of just liked the campus there. It was pretty small, and I could get my way around. And they're starting a new program, so a lot of opportunity for me there.
So you go back to school in the next couple of weeks, and practice starts at the end of January. Talk about the season, the schedule, and what to expect from Peyton LeMere.
Based on our schedule, we should be able to compete in most of our games. I would think just being a second-year program, we're already kind of set up to compete. As for what to expect from me is I'm going to show up and play every day. It's something you can count on. It's something I've always been kind of known for, being the rugged. I'll stick my nose in there, kind of be able to compete.
So kind of the phrase that's used a lot, count on me, is that describe Peyton LeMere?
Mm-hmm. I'll be there every day.
Well, so you're taking a trip to Southern California, too, during spring break. Share a little bit about that.
We'll be playing 2 games over the course of spring break. So on March 20th, we'll be playing at Whittier, and then 2 days later, on that Friday, we'll be playing against Johnson at Wales, which is out of Denver.
As a freshman, how are you doing academically with that transition?
It's been a pretty smooth transition for me because being a 3-sport athlete, I've already had to schedule or have kind of a packed schedule where getting my work done on time was kind of a challenge. So being able to work ahead now is kind of pretty good for me.
Good. What's ahead for the indoor and the outdoor season for Sam Pinkowski?
Well, my goals are big. I wanna be a national champion. That's my next goal. So we have to sit down with my coaches and look at kind of, what races I plan on qualifying in for those meets. But yeah, the indoors I'll probably run the 3K or the 5K, and outdoors I'll probably run the 5K and the 10K. So yeah, excited.
And are you surrounded with really good teammates too?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my team is wonderful. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to train with.
Well, there's a team in lacrosse called UW Lacrosse Eagles. It's pretty good in track and field.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Will you come back and compete in lacrosse against them or in a meet?
Yeah, we actually have a couple meets in lacrosse during the outdoor season. We don't come here for indoor, but outdoor we have a couple meets at the UWL Stadium, which is, it's a beautiful place to compete.
Of course, you're familiar with competing on that field.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
Well, we actually had our outdoor national meet there last season. So
I was there.
Yeah.
Now there were thousands of people. I'm sure you didn't see me, and you were focused on other things other than to shake hands and wave at people. But so you expect a lot. So as a sophomore, you're going to. You ever think about maybe competing as a professional, or maybe even in the Olympics?
Yeah, I want to keep competing post-collegiately. That's definitely one of my goals. I'm not sure, I'm not sure where I'll be after college. I definitely want to keep competing, keep running competitively. Professionally, though, I'm not sure. There's like different levels of professional running. There's like semi-pro, where you can get on kind of a club team, and they'll pay for like your shoes and things and your flights to races. That's kind of a goal of mine, is to be competing at that level after college. I think that's some place I could be.
And of course, runners, unlike maybe some other sports, I know Peyton trains all the time, you can see by looking at him, but with you too, as a prototype kind of athlete, a runner, you train year-round, and you're disciplined in your nutrition and your lifestyle. So if you're going to be an athlete like you and like Peyton, starting with you, Sam, for young people watching the show, how do you get to that level?
The biggest thing is learning how to take care of your body. That's the biggest thing, especially your first year of college. It's easy to run out of time to take care of yourself, especially trying to balance classes and athletics. But if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating well, you break down and you get hurt.
How do you eat, Sam?
I eat really healthy. I eat a lot of vegetables. I actually I bought myself a Vitamix blender. It's like a $250 blender, and so I make myself smoothies with lots of different various powders and stuff to get some good nutrition in my body. Yeah.
Well, I had a gift given to me from the family at Christmas, and guess what it was? A blender.
Was it?
So I need to start to do the same thing. Peyton, you're in great shape too, and being a competitive lacrosse player, you need to stay in shape. How do you do that?
Kind of just taking care of your body, like Sam said, whether it's nutrition or, well, in my case, I'd also go into lifting too, being bigger and faster and stronger. Most players, it helps a lot too. I also like the thought of being a three-sport athlete, or playing as many sports as you can, because you use different types of various muscles, so you can't overuse on one. So.
So have you slipped a little bit during the holidays, or you continue to work out all the time?
I'm still continuing to work out.
So what are you doing during the holidays?
Tend to just going back to work, getting some more money for college, and then also going to hitting the weight room too.
Good. Sam, I know you're running all the time too, and are you spending the holidays with your family and kind of taking a little break from competing and training, or not?
A break from competing, yes. Training, no. I've definitely been. I'm spending a lot of time with my family, but I've been continuing to run. Actually, my mom likes to go on bike rides alongside me when I'm running, which is fun. So I can spend some time with her while I'm training.
Good. But, even in the winter, she takes that bike out.
Even in the winter, yep. She's pretty rugged. So
good. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you catching up with Sam Pinkowski, Lacrosse Central and now Wartburg College, and catching up with Peyton LeMere, Holman High School and now Marion College. It's been a pleasure, and you're looking, just talking to you, I'm sure our viewers would agree, just the kind of young people that the community and the greater La Crosse area are proud of, both of you. So continue good luck to you.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be back with some film clips and closing thoughts right after this.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team.
Who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
When you're faced with the decision of selecting a monument to honor someone dear to you, call Lewiston Monuments for a no-obligation consultation. Lewiston Monument is a full-service monument company, serving families in Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin for over 4 generations. You'll find beautiful granite, marble, and bronze memorials, all at competitive prices. Their experts can help you design the perfect and unique memorial. Lewiston Monument. Call today or on the web at lewistonmonument.com.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. What's a busy time for us here at KQEG? Lots of high school basketball in the month of February. Rick and I were at Central High School on Tuesday night for the Intercity and MVC rematch with crosstown rival Logan. Let's start with the girls. The Red Raider defense took control from the opening tip as they held a commanding 20-point lead into halftime. The Ranger offense continued to struggle in the second half without the services of their leading scorer, Claire Borsheim, out with a concussion. Central used all 15 players on its roster and was led by senior captain Heather Opitz with 14 points. Ava Parcher followed with 13, and Whitney Mislivacek contributed 12. Logan was led by 9 points apiece from Jenna and JoJo Davis. Final score, Game 1, Central 61, Logan 26. Well, the second game featured the number 2 in Division II in the state of Wisconsin, the Central boys hosting Andy Fernholz and the Logan Rangers. Todd Fergus Red Raiders put together a first half highlight reel which included numerous dunks and three-pointers coming off an abundance of turnovers. 47-16 lead for Central at halftime. It didn't get much better for the Rangers in the second half as the talented Red Raider defense contributed many more turnovers and continued to dominate. Terrence Thompson had a game-high 17 points and 8 rebounds and was our player of the game. Logan was led by McGuire Werner's 8 points and 6 rebounds. Devin Moran had 2 3-pointers for Logan, which fell to 7 and 10 on the year. Final from the Mark Sutton Memorial Gymnasium on the campus of Central High School. The Red Raiders 73 and the Logan Rangers 38. Well, that does it this week here on Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping that you will have an active and a healthy weekend.